in war, you have to have strategy.
Right.
And, when I first met Senator Eddie Melton, I knew nothing about Gary other than that the Jacksons was from there.
Right.
But there wasn't a conversation that he had that I didn't with him that wasn't about educating me about the richness of the culture and the injustices that have been done there and the opportunities that are there. So, for me, a person that's looking for a path to give our culture freedom and to, bring awareness to those that are really fighting for us and the history that if we could see it would make us want to be it. If you could see it, you want to be it. That's the new thing right there, And it was almost like I had been to Gary. So I started to go to Gary I hadn't even went yet, but we were looking for things to do to economically stimulate Gary. And it just felt like we were getting resistance. And he was a senator. And like literally he's the kind of cat that we could be in the studio, make a hook for a record, and he'll jump on there, rap on the record. But like if someone, right? But like
it's a new day.
I mean, this is what food.
It's a new day.
It's like when food has black people is soul food.
Right.
This is soul politics.
I love it.
But what I'm saying is, like, I'll be in the office with like the CEO of like Mankind who makes insulin, and we express how expensive insulin was, and he wrote that shit up and made a law to cap insulin at a certain price. So he's a guy that like, I'm like, wow, you could really see a problem and it could be fixed.
Right.
Other than just talking shit and fucking complaining and blaming everyone else for it. All this time, everyone that's been fucking complaining and talking shit about politics, I bet you none of them have lobbied for a law.
Never.
I bet you none of them have actually like talked to their city council or whatever representative and even tried to fix anything they're complaining about. So for me, it became important, number one, to get that mayor and help him get that mayor out of there.
Right.
Because he was stopping economic development within our culture, at least from my perspective, from an outsider looking in. And I knew that if he got in there, that not only would he like do what's right, but do it in a way that was forward thinking with respect to the history. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all he talks about. Because he's a smart dude. He could be a CEO of any company or run his own or consultant. Because that's what he was like, yo, I could go get this money. But but I can't leave Gary. And I'm like, well, we're gonna stay in Gary. Let's do something, help everybody. Let's get some money. Let's get some.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
It's like Black Wakanda. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So anyway, he did like a marketing campaign out there that was similar to a campaign for an album or a movie. So
I know you had a hand in that, Dane.
Well, I designed the creative, but actually the like when I went, he had every billboard and every yard sign. They had an album with videos from everybody around saying, "Get ready for Eddie. Get ready for Eddie." Like,
I love it.
They had records. And he came in there when we was going down the day of, because, after we had the plan, he was like, yo, we're going to announce it, because he helped open the casino. And he announced he was running. And I announced it. I introduced it. And then on the day of, I came through and we went to that's the polls where they vote.
Yeah, the poll.
The people that were there to support the other dude with the shirts were taking their shirts off and taking pictures with us. and I got all that shit documented. So, now that that's happened, he's made a lot of promises, or at least said he's going to do certain things, and he's a man of his word. And, all it's about is really right now what the first 100 days look like. And with that, I'm going to just pass it on. But I just feel like it's important. Like, I know the last time I was here, I don't remember what I said, but I know I was talking some big shit. And more than likely, my thing is, we all know the problems. Talking about problems without solutions is just trying to trigger somebody and depresses everybody. We have to come with solutions.
Right.
So whatever shit I was talking, here's a solution. Here's an example in real time. No PTSD of complaining about getting abused, but what it looks like to actually solve a problem.
I love it. Eddie, I know I was trying to kind of understand your story, and when you were explaining it to me, it's like mind-blowing. So I just wanted you to like kind of share your story and also talk about your relationship with Dane.
Yeah. Man, growing up in Gary in the early 90s, a lot of folks may know Gary, quote unquote, as that murder capital of America.
I knew it as
time
that.
frame, right?
That's all everybody knows.
Yeah, that's
So, I mean, it's two things, and I'm not even going to dwell on that because I'm here to change the narrative on the city, but I have to tell people that story to let them know from where we're going to come from, right? The article, The Morning I Won, had a quote, Gary's going to rise like a phoenix out of the ashes, and I truly believe that. When you look at a city that was built because of one of the world's largest companies, U.S. Steel, that city is 52 square miles. At one point, we had nearly 200,000 people, and right now we have 69,000 people.
All the white people ran off.
Right? So
Fucking white people.
And they took the banks. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
but that's part of that history, right?
Yeah.
Gary, the turnaround of this is why Dame playing a role. Gary's gonna be one of the greatest comeback stories in American history. Just like Detroit, just like Youngstown, Ohio. At one point, it felt like the world turned its back on that city. Right? The same city that produced Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5, Janet Jackson, Big Dog, Glenn Robinson, and so many others is the same city that's standing today. And with the issues that we hit, from our economy, from white flight, the term that was coined in the early '60s, late '60s, to the city that had the first black mayor in the United States of America, that had the first black national political convention in 1972.
But hold on. First, that political convention, there's a documentary, and it's so gangster.
It's called Nation Time.
Everybody that was doing anything black was there.
Yeah,
I love
That was like what you would look at and be proud and be like, damn. And they don't even show the visuals of what it looked like and how strong we looked and how cool. Like, who was there? Because I was looking at it, it was like, everybody was there.
Now, keep in mind, this is right after the assassination of Dr. King. Coretta Scott King was there.
Mm-hmm.
Betty Shabazz, wife of Malcolm X, was there. Jesse Jackson, Harry Belafonte. Every national black leader
But like the
during
Jacksons
that
was
time.
there?
The Jacksons performed. They were little kids. They were just getting into
Was
their
James
fame.
Brown there? It was like a bunch. It was like,
I think
wow.
James may have came. Yeah. So again, they mixed the culture with politics at that time still.
But did you know about that?
I didn't know
Neither did
about
I.
that.
Did you know about that?
Nope.
Now, why wouldn't we know about that? Because it's such a strong thing in our culture that they don't want us to see.
But I really think that I don't know if they want to share that.
That's what I just said.
Because if they do share that and we do realize that we can create change for ourselves, then it gets real different for them.
Rewind real quick. Not only will we make change for ourselves, we'll make change for everybody. It's not a color thing. It's an economic, social class thing, and they keep us divided to keep us broke. It's a 1% versus a 99% thing. That's black and white. You understand? There's a lot of broke white people out there and a lot of broke black people. But black people have just caught a little more of a raw deal because we're not from here. We're imported. You understand what I'm saying?
And you even see it in schools and legislation where they don't want us to teach certain quote unquote history. I had to fight a fight, and actually the OSG helped me fight a fight off school grounds. They tried to stop teaching black history in the state of Indiana.
But no, you want to know why? They said it made white people uncomfortable to know what their grandparents did. And they also, hold on, he called me tight. He said, black people don't respect education, so they don't deserve it.
Wow.
It's so many narratives in a lot of
That's
folks.
mind blowing.
Bro, no,
somebody said that out loud.
He be on the floor like, ho, now, watch your mouth. Like, it gets crazy in there. It ain't no joke.
That is.
Like, you should send him some of this shit. Like, he be in there like, yo, I'm a senator, but I might have to fuck somebody else. For real, they be like unloosening ties and all that shit. I'd be like, yo, you want me to come down there?
Hey, at the end of the day, if you want to make change, you got to change policy. You got to change laws. Long-term substantive change in our communities. Economics, quality of life, environment. We have to play in that field. If we just sit back and act like just let them do it to us, then it's going to happen to us. That's where I just picked up the ball and I said, fuck it, I'm going to just jump in. And that's when I started to run. In 2016, I was on the State Board of Education. I didn't even want to do it at that time. It was Governor Mike Pence. Mike Pence appointed me, and I turned it down. So he kept calling. They reached out. They had to appoint a Democrat. So I accepted it at the end of the day, became a State Board of Education member. And that's when I learned. They told me, they said, if you want to know what's going on, follow the money. And when I started following the money and realizing the reason why they're testing our children so much is because somebody making money off the books, somebody making money off grading the tests, somebody making money off making the tests. I said, I get it. I see where we're going with this now. So I ran 2016, same year, Trump was on the ballot, Hillary's on the ballot. That's on election night, I had mixed emotions because I had won, and at the same time, I knew, like, damn, what's about to happen to the country? So that was my first year.
That's amazing.
What's really fucked up is how politics are ran in general in this country in a two-party system, you don't think? That's my biggest problem with our country's politics is either you're Democrat or you're Republican, and I think people blindly vote because of that.
Well, that's the purpose of doing that, is to divide.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If me and you were fighting for the same block together and it's good, if I hear that you fighting, I'm not going to like fight against you. I'm going to fight with you. We all fighting for the same country. So to fight, to do something, to have a war, to fix a war will never, ever mean there'll be anything but war. And that's a strategic thing. Is any division, even in that same conversation, because what I like what he does is, as a person, you can't know everything about everything. But if you're going to deal with a certain subject matter, he's going to go do the research. So when he gets on that floor, he's karate kicking motherfuckers. For real. So that's why he listens. So it was about education. He called Dennis, who runs the OSG, which is like 200-300 principals. And before this conversation, I would have said black principals. But he was like, you got to stop saying black principals because it puts us in a box. They already know we're going to say black principals. And it scares people. It's economically challenged because it's not about black or white. It's about broke.
Right.
It's broke people. You know what I'm saying? Period. And in that conversation, I also learned that people are scared of what they don't know. So in that conversation, Dennis was like, so y'all trying to put a curriculum up there. Well, where's the curriculum? Has anybody seen it? Nah, it's not made yet. So that's why everybody's scared.
So
they don't know what
it.
it is. Make the